Today I'm going to plant out parsnip, and if you watched one of my previous videos last fall, I collected all my own parsnip seeds from the parsnip I let over winter and then bolt the next year because they're biennial, which means they'll produce their seeds in the second year. So I kept a few parsnip and I got loads of seeds. Now it's kind of a little bit early for us here to plant parsnip, but I'm going to give it a try because I got lots of seeds and I can always just plant them out again if it doesn't work. So we made these rows in the fall because I like to leave the soil undisturbed over the winter and just let it rest and let all the microorganisms go to work, and I don't like tilling or anything in the spring. So we got the rows here and I just got to pick one to put the parsnips in, and I had the parsnips up there last year, so I don't want to plant the same thing in the same spot 2 years in a row. So I'm going to pick one of these here, and some are wider than others, so I'm going to keep the wider rows for my turnips and things. So I'm going to probably pick one of the middle rows for parsnips. I'll just randomly pick a row, and it's going to be this one, I think. I like to put my little tag in place, and I don't know where these came from. My mother gave them to me. So it's just a little rod I poke in the ground. They come with tags, and I marked it parsnip. So now, planting the parsnips. I usually go along the row, and sometimes I use my fingers, and sometimes I just use, you can buy a dibber, but I just use the end of my Sharpie. And I'm going to poke a hole about a ½ inch deep every inch or so. And this soil is nice and loose. If you got a really heavy clay soil or any kind of root vegetable like a parsnip or a carrot, you want to loosen up the soil, add in a little bit of sand and some organic matter to make it loose so that they won't twist as they grow. So I'm just going to continue on this whole row, poking holes about every 1 inch and about a ½ inch deep. Okay, so I got all my holes dug along the row here, and I'm just going to grab my seeds. A handful of these here. Some are still sort of stuck together. It's okay. And it's pretty simple. I just drop a seed in the hole, in each hole, and sometimes more than one, but try to just get one in each hole. If they're stuck together like that, that's okay. It's not easy holding the camera and doing it, but just drop a seed in each hole, and before I move along, then I'll just take my finger and just cover back the hole. So if it is a little too early, that's okay. Like I said, I got loads of seeds, so I can just plant it out again, but that only takes a few minutes. So yeah, pretty simple to plant parsnips. Just have some loose soil, and you want to plant them early, like when the soil is workable and is warmed a little bit. And just pop your seed in, cover it up, and that's about it. So this row should do maybe 60 to 75 parsnips. So that's it. Pretty simple. Grow your own parsnips. Check out the video on how to collect your own parsnip seeds. And if you don't have a big garden like a row like this, you can still poke a few even in a deep pot. If you love parsnip, you can give it a try. And just try growing anything this year. Just grow something. Spinach, radishes, some lettuce. It's pretty simple to grow your own food. So I'm going to continue on now and plant out my parsnip. Oh, and I wanted to tell you what I'm doing with this bed out back. We have enough space out front now for growing our food. So I had a ton of seeds for flowers and herbs that were given to me in different trades. They were just sitting there now for a couple of years. So what I did was all the ones that you have to cold treat, if you see that you need to cold stratify your seeds, that means they just need a little period of cold. So you can do it in the house, in the fridge, but sort of inconvenient. So this is about 6 weeks or so before our last frost. So we're going to have some cold weather, and it's going to have some freezing and thawing still. Essentially just cascaded all the different seeds, all intermixed in this bed here, and what comes, and what don't. So This is going to be just a surprise. So I have all my cold seeds already, the ones that need to be cold stratified, already put in the bed. And then after the last frost, I'll put in any others that I have that need to be planted in warmer weather. And so this will just be a random flower and herb garden. If I really love something, I can transplant it to a permanent location. Another good little thing you can do with seeds, just if you don't have a big bed like this and you got some random seeds and you don't quite know what to do with them, you can just pop them in a pot even. They need cold stratification. Just put your pot outdoors a few weeks before your last frost, because you want the soil to get some frost into it and freeze and thaw to activate those seeds. So that's what I got done here, and as the summer progresses we'll see what grows. So this is going to be completely a surprise. Okay, next up on my list of garden chores this morning is to move these little snowdrops and these crocuses, because they're not doing well here. It's getting overtaken by the trees and the shade. So I'm going to move them out front, but first I need to find a new location for them, so I'll head out front and take a look. Okay, so this was a new flower bed we put in. Everything still kind of looks brown, so you can't really see the difference. And I'm not sure if I want to put it in there. I do have plants in there already, perennials. So, trying to find a nice spot for those. Possibly put them out here in the front. Decisions. So I did decide to put them in this bed right here. There is some spaces in between, and since they're an early spring flower, that's fine. They'll come up first before the other ones do. So I dug the two little holes, and I'm going to head back and dig up the snowdrops and the crocuses. Alright, so here I go. I'm going to dig these few little flowers up here and give them a new home. I don't think they're really happy around here. Just lift those right up, and I want to take everything with them because I don't like them to even know that I moved them. And just pull out some of the weeds from around and move that to the side. Just fill the hole back in. It's all weeds in here. And then the snowdrops. Go. Coming out. There's probably some tree roots mixed in among that. And they're free. There's another little few there. Take those out as well. Alright, and now we'll move them to the front. Okay, so I got the hole already dug for them, and yes, I know most people say do not move flowers when they're in flower, but I've done it for years and I never have a problem. But I move them quickly. I have the hole already prepared for them, and I do it on an overcast day and water them in. So we got those in there. There's a few little extras there. Let's toss some soil back around. And there, they got a new home where they're out of the shade. Well, they still have a little bit of shade here, and I left most of the soil on the roots. And they look kind of cute there. And as for the crocuses, they came up with a few weeds, so we want to pull out any weeds because we don't want any of those in there. Just gently shake out the weeds, and some grass. We don't want the grass in there either. Just take a look at the underside, because these are bulbs, so If there's any bulbs stuck into the grass, you can plant them back again. See, there's a little small one there that almost fell out. So we'll just pull out all the weeds. That hole is much too deep because you want to plant them the same depth as they were. So when you plant them, you do not want to plant them deeper than you pull them out of the ground. So there we go. Just nestle them in there. Toss some of the original soil back in here. We have another little bulb that just popped out and it got a nice little root system on it. So just nestle that in there. And there. They don't even know that we moved them. There we go. Alright, so we'll give them all a little drink of water, and that's another little project done for this morning. Toss those weeds away. There we go. So here we go. They're all transplanted and watered in, and they look happy there. So there's no big deal. Just if you don't like where a plant is or it's not doing well, just pull it up and move it quick and water it in, and preferably do it on a not so sunny day. Everything should be fine. I don't usually worry about plants. Actually, funny thing is, this heather that I have over here, my friend had this dry bush, just this really dead bush upside down on her front lawn, and I said, what is that? And she said, I don't know, it was heather, or she wasn't sure what it was, and she didn't, it wasn't doing well at her place, so it was like the middle of August, and she just dug it up and threw it on her lawn to throw it out. And I took it home, threw it down in a bucket of water, the root in down in a bucket of water, and left it in a shady spot in the back for probably 2 days, and transplanted it, and it really looked dead. And now I have this big, beautiful heather. Yeah, so don't stress over plants. Just give them a chance. They want to live anyway, and move them about. If they're not doing well somewhere, you can either change the soil or just move them to another location, which is usually what I do. And preferably do it in the spring or in the fall. Alright, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.